Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salamun ala ibadihi alladhina istafa khususan ala sayyidi rusuli wa hatamil anbiya wa ala alihi al-adkiya wa ala alihi al-asfiya. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Ya ayyuhan nas uzkuru ni'matallahi alaykum hal min khaliqin ghayrullahi yarzuqukum minas samai wal ard la ilaha illa hu fa'ana tu'fakun. Sadaqallahu al-azim. Alhamdulillah, by the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us once again and has bestowed His immense fadl and mercy upon us to sit in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to listen to that which we can learn and act upon in our daily lives, to learn that which is pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to learn that which is that we should refrain from, and to send peace and blessings upon the best of creation, Sayyidul Wujud, Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now, in the opening verses I mentioned a particular ayah, and if any of you know tafsir of the Quran, you know that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word Ya ayyuhan nas, the particular word Ya ayyuhan nas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing all mankind, not like Ya ayyuhallazina amanu or Ya bani Adam or Ya bani Israel, not like this. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word Ya ayyuhan nas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing the entirety of mankind. And even the Mufassirun have mentioned that it is similar, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is as though addressing you by name, like Abid or Adam or Brother Majid or any of us by name. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is as though addressing you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Uzkuru ni'matallahi alaykum, and remember the favor of Allah upon you. Remember the favor of Allah upon you. So don't forget the amount of blessings Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed us with. Like recently I've seen a documentary about the people of Tanzania, how they would have to walk 20, 30, 40 miles and kilometers to get fresh, clean drinking water. And for us it's just to turn up a tap. Even this water in this glass, we take it for granted. It doesn't mean nothing to us really. So think about, that's only one example. There are many. Iman, that we're ummati of Rasulullah, that we are Muslim, that we have all these skills and abilities and family, health, everything like this. We have all these things. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further says, Min khaliqin ghayrullahi yarzuqukum minas samai wal ard. Is there any other creator? Now ask yourself, is there any other creator other than Allah who provides for you from the heaven and earth? Ask yourself, is there any other creator who provides for you from the heaven and earth? Now really we should ask ourselves, this water is from the earth. From the heavens is bestowed upon us the Iman. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed Iman upon us. The blessing of having Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, all these things. Is there anyone else? Ask yourself. No, really the reality answer is no. And Allah ilaha illahu, there is no deity except Him. There is no other God except Him. فَأَنَّا تُؤْفَكُونَ. So how are you deluded? So where's the confusion? Where's the doubt? Where's the deception? Where is it? This is only one ayah of the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking you a question. Where's the delusion? Why are you deluded for? What have you forgotten? Have you forgotten Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Look around you. That's a reminder of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't forget about the blessings we have. And really, like I say, is that this majalis and this zikr really, and every activity that happens in the masjid, really the immense fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even that we have a want to come. It's still the fadl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's still a blessing regardless. So we should ask ourselves, why are we confused? Where's the delusion? Where are we lost? What did we forget? What happened? This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asking, Ya ayyuhan nas, what happened to you? Why have you forgotten? And truly one should actually remember the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So today I have actually chosen a very specific topic, and inshallah Aziz, I know I don't want to take up too much of your time really, because I know this time is very precious to you, and sitting in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is whether it's all about your intention, what you're doing it for. Like Brother Majid has mentioned, he mentions every week that what are you here for? Are you here for a little gabshab? Are we here to talk? Are we here to just pass time? What are we here for? Ask yourself, all these questions really should help you in actually reaching your desired end. Why are we here for? Is it because if we already know everything, then you shouldn't really be here, because you should actually be on this seat? It's not even that I know everything, but if a person knows everything, then really there's no need for you to even come into the masjid and attend all these seminars and discourses and classes, because you already know everything. Now it's up to you to act upon that, whatever you know. Specifically, like I mentioned, especially about your intention, because it sort of ties into the majalis. There are two specific attributes of the heart. There are two specific attributes of the heart. And those brothers who are listening, alhamdulillah, is that there are two. One is known as hypocrisy. One is known as hypocrisy. And the other is known as sincerity. And we should know that both of these particular attributes are very powerful. One can lead you to the closeness and nearness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the other one can lead you to the misery of the hellfire. That is the actual thingy, that's the actual qualities of the heart. Can someone just wake him up? I think he's tired. Maybe you can go sleep in the back room or something. Do you want to go sleep in the back? You can go sleep in the back. So this sometimes as well it's not a good thing. So secondly is that, however, hypocrisy and sincerity. Let me get hypocrisy and sincerity. Both of them are subjected to the influence of shaitan and nafs. Because you've got one side where you think you're sincere. You think, oh yes, I'm praying 5 times a day, I'm fasting in the month of Ramadan, I'm doing zikr, I'm doing all these good things. And then shaitan will come in and he'll say, you know what, yes, mashallah, you are very good. He'll come in, he'll tell you, you're very, very, very good. You're doing everything. And really, this is why I've chosen this topic, because it actually helps you distinguish and identify how we can sort of prevent this from happening. So shaitan will come in and he'll say, mashallah, you're actually quite good. You're quite good. You're attending bayans, you're learning the deen, you're doing the zikr, you're doing azkar, you're attending the prayer in jamaat, etc. And then before you know it, you're back to your old ways, because shaitan has planted that seed of deception. He's planted the seed of deception already. So this sincerity, even though we might think we're sincere, we're actually far from it. Hence why in the course of self-purification it is mentioned that one should actually refresh their intentions in the beginning, in the middle and the end. It ensures and puts the stamp on that you're constantly reminding yourself that what you're actually doing is for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and for no other reason, because your intention and your amal can become distorted by shaitan as well. It doesn't necessarily make you a good person that you're praying and fasting. I think I mentioned this last week as well. And the other one is hypocrisy. Is that, yes, we might think, we want to lead others astray, inshallah. I'm going to cover that in a little bit more detail. And as we know the hadith of the person who has hypocrisy in the heart, In this, we're going to try and identify exactly how the shaitan and nafs will work together to lead a person astray. How the shaitan and nafs will combine together like an army and work against you. How that will happen. By knowing what the devil can do through his tricks, his temptation, his deceptions, and how he casts doubts into the hearts of the Muslims. How he does this. And the first thing we have to distinguish is where the influence, authority and idea is actually coming from. So the first thing you should actually do, if any idea, thought, anything comes into your mind, the first thing you should do is actually identify where it's coming from. Is it coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through guidance or with guidance? Is it coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Yes, you should actually ask yourself, is it coming from Allah with guidance? And anything associated with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning the prophets, the malaika, the awliya and salihin, is it coming through them? Yes or no? Then we should actually, if yes, then we know that the guidance is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If not, then we know that it's coming from elsewhere. Secondly, is it coming from shaitan with misguidance? Is it coming from the shaitan with misguidance? Okay, now an idea comes into your mind or anything. Ask yourself, is it coming from shaitan with the misguidance? So, some examples for when it's coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all of us, because I'm specifically talking about doing good and bad. I'm not talking about anything else here, like football or anything. It's not really relevant to the subject. So, is it good? Is it coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Like for example, the month of Ramadan is less than a week or so away. We should know that now we are starting to get an inclination. We're preparing ourselves, our mind to stand in Taraweeh for an hour and a bit in Salah, attending on fasting for 18, 19 hours, however long it may be. This is how you know that it's coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it's a clear inspiration to do good, isn't it? No one saying, okay, it cannot come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, don't fast. That can never happen. It can come from shaitan. Shaitan can come in and mention and say, okay, you know what, when you're fasting, try to find gaps, okay, or maybe shorten your thingy, not to attend a prayer, attend 8 rakat tarawih and all these kind of things. Shaitan can come in and mention. And nafs is like, because nafs is naturally inclined towards evil. The nafs is naturally inclined towards that which is bad, which is evil. And we should immediately know that when shaitan comes in and our nafs like it, that means we should actually refrain from it. Because our nafs is far from purified. The nafs we have is far from purified. It's actually far from its purification levels the way it should be. Because we know nafs al-lawama, nafs al-amar, nafs al-mutama'inna, and there's a nafs level beyond that as well. And let me tell you, I'll ask you a question, make this a little bit actually interactive. Who knows what the greatest deception of the nafs is? Does anyone know? If anyone can raise their hands. Who knows what the greatest deception of the nafs is? No one? Anyone? Anyone want to have a guess? There's one. Would you like to have a guess? No? The greatest deception of the nafs is to make you think it doesn't exist. That's the greatest deception of the nafs. Is to make you think it actually is not there. That's its number one goal. But when you know it's there, it goes on panic mode. It starts to make you think and believe. Like for example, you get the nafs. I gave this example a few months ago as well. Is that you'll get people. This is the work of the nafs really. So shaitan will whisper into the person's mind. Okay, say for example, a person is born a man or a boy, a male. His gender is male. And his shaitan comes in, you know what, you feel more like a female. He'll come in and he'll mention, you feel more like a female. And then he'll think about it, contemplate, you know what, actually, I like to, and this is just some example I can give to you to explain how the nafs deceives people. And what the nafs will do is shaitan will put that thought, plant that seed in his mind. After that the seed has been planted, what will happen is the nafs will start to think, hang on a second, because remember at this point he doesn't know what the nafs is. He's thinking he's the person. So what happens is he starts to think, you know what, I'm not actually a male, I'm a female. So he'll start to believe, he'll start to dress like a female, he'll start to look like he'll start to act like one, he'll start to talk like one, he'll take medication. You know, everyone know, I don't know if you know too much about this, but this is what happens. Is that what happens is the nafs, it will start to deceive you in thinking that it's not there. So it'll pretend that you're actually something else. It'll make you think that it's actually something else, and make you think you're something else. And I've mentioned in the past as well that we're actually the spirit. We're not this body. We're not the mind. We're not the heart. We're not the mind. We're not the aqal. We're not the nafs. We are the spirit. We are the spirit. We should know this. It should be. If I ever ask in the future, we should know that that this is actually true. And just I'll mention something else as a bonus on top of things. It's mentioned by them sometimes when a person does things like, for example, guidance when actually delivering nasiha, is because whenever I actually come into this position, I'm not expecting a room full of people. I'm genuinely, no, am I first, if there's one person here or there's nobody here, the message will still carry on getting delivered, whether it's me or anyone. But I'll tell you one thing, before a person gives the bayan, we do 2 rak'ah salatul haja. 2 rak'ah salatul haja is beseeching the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And only then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless the people who are supposed to be here. Because not everyone is meant to be here. And this is something I just thought I'd mention it so that we know we're looking for people who are sincere, with an open mind and open heart. And should these people actually benefit? Because there's no goodness in me saying to you, okay, for years and years I've sat in front of 2 people, sometimes 3 people, 5 people. It doesn't make a difference to me. Wallahi al-azim, it doesn't make a difference to me. Because I'm not here people pleasing. I know that sometimes the things I might say, it might even be too deep for people to actually understand. Because they can't really recognize. Okay, we just barely pray our salah, and now we're learning about sha'wa and shara and all these things, and evil and temptation and all these things. But really, I'm only targeting something that is actually active upon us. It's not that it doesn't exist. Okay, if anyone can tell me that it doesn't exist, I want to know how you're in that state of where not even shaitan comes and gives you waswasa, not even nafs gives you waswasa. I want to know how you actually got to that state. Because that is a state that high-ranking awliya Allah, the nafs is really killed to the core. And this is it. So, and also, how one can actually identify as well another way is, in order to actually distinguish clearly, is that to know if it's something good or bad, one way to clearly distinguish it is with a strong will and sincere effort. Strong will and sincere effort. So firstly, something comes into your mind, okay, I don't know, give me an example. Something bad comes into your mind. Who give an example? Come on. Listening to music. Okay, listening to music, mashallah. Good example. So the thing, your music comes in your head, and the thing is, we don't really know whether it's good for us or bad for us. We're in a state where we're in a state of uncertainty. We don't know if it's good. We don't know if it's bad for us. So what you'll do is that you'll think, is this action, is this thought, is it in line with the Quran and the Sunnah? Will it be more pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Will it be more displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? If it's of the latter, then it should be refrained from. If it's displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one should actually refrain from it. In our Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, there's a few things in Aqidah al-Tahawiyah. It's mentioned about the different types of revelation, what can actually be bestowed upon a person. It's in our Aqidah as well. The first thing is wahi. Who knows what wahi is? Revelation. It's only exclusive to prophets. No human being can get this wahi. No human being. Wahi is like the Quran, the Torah, the Injil, etc., etc. The next one is ilham. Who knows what ilham is? Inspiration, mashallah. The divine inspiration to the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, it's not a source of sharia. It cannot be considered. Only if it's in accordance with the Quran and Sunnah is that ilham accepted. that it's not free from contamination as well. Shaitan and nafs can't interfere with this. The next one is mu'jiza. Who knows what mu'jiza is? Miraculous acts performed by prophets. Like for example, Isa alayhi salam resurrected the dead or restored the sight of the blind. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam split the moon. These kind of examples. The next one is karamat, which is the miraculous acts performed at the hands of the awliya Allah. Sometimes people who are associated with friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they might see. But the greatest miracle of any awliya Allah is bringing one person, or even 1 or 2 or 10, doesn't matter, from the light, from the darkness of disobedience to the light of obedience. That is one of the greatest miracles that can be performed by the awliya Allah. Not pretend, real life changes, not pretend. Or it doesn't, all this imama, sunnah, it doesn't, unless you see that this sunnah is having an effect on my life, then this sunnah has benefited me. Otherwise, I could be the most worst person in the sunnah. It doesn't mean nothing. There were hypocrites in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well. What's to say about now? Another example I like to provide to you. Muslims as well, who generally under the microscope, the news, the outlets, they target Muslims. They target the Muslims. They target the vulnerability of Muslims. Not everyone understands Arabic. Recently a video got out, these evil people in these countries doing bad, causing terror amongst people. Why is it that Muslims are being targeted? It's because really it's the shaitan using like a deception tool, a tool in order to push you away from the sunnah. Because the moment we put this turban on our head, they're going to think, oh, he must be a part of something now, he's going to do something bad, he's going to do something, he's going to cause harm to us. So that means is that, I don't know, and whenever I've spoken to people as well, that's what they've genuinely thought, is that the moment you put the sunnah or started to follow the sunnah, they have an immediate like a perception of you that you're going to cause harm to others, even though that might not be your intention. Your intentions are good intentions, you want to follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, get rewarded for it. But now in our times, even there's not even khilafat. From Rasulullah ﷺ until the early 20th century, there was always a khilafat. There's always been a firm place or hub for the religion to actually manifest itself. But now there's nothing. We have to really attach ourselves to the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in order to attain salvation. When we going the opposite direction, and this leads me on to explain what the next one is. The next one is it's called istadraj. Have you heard of istadraj? Istadraj meaning is a supernatural magic type act performed by the evil impious people. Like if I now did some mad miracle, something, whatever, it might be even considered a miracle in the outward form. But really I'm like the worst person, and I don't follow the sunnah, I don't pray, I don't do nothing. The reality is that this is considered istadraj, and it's something that Dajjal will do. He will come, he will manipulate people. One, he will have like 2 books, you all heard the story. He is the greatest one, he's the one who will do the most istadraj upon people. And really, when you look at this, when you see anyone, any friend of Allah, anyone who claiming friends of the wali, and they claim to be God, friends of God, they claim to be followers of Rasul, anything that they claim, you should be able to distinguish. Like this is the identification of shar and evil. You should be able to identify sincerely with open heart, not go on Google, okay, type in someone's name and see, okay, who are they, what they do. It doesn't work like that. You should sit in the sohbat of, if you hear bad about of someone, then you should immediately go and sit in their sohbat and actually check what they're about. Is their life in conformity with the sunnah? Is their life in conformity with the Quran? Is the fiqh? Are they following the fiqh? Are they praying 5 times a day? Are they fasting? Or is the akhlaq? Is it the akhlaq al-Muhammadiyah, not the devilish akhlaq? How is their outward character? Is the character good? And really, even the one word of this person, even the silence of this person will benefit you. Now I'm talking about the silence of this person will benefit you. But when a person is like this, doing istadraj and deceiving people, one of the great deceptions of shaitan, and using that person like a tool, a mouthpiece to deceive people, who's to say what this person will lead others to as well? Complete destruction. He will destroy them. So much so, hence why you attach yourself with the real friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm trying to sort of put it into a comprehensive way how you can actually distinguish this as well. Influences of this type can come in two ways. One is through the external self, and the other one is through the internal self. So the influence can come. Like for example, I don't know, a brother might get up and he might start shouting and swearing, etc. This is an external influence. Or external meaning, is it from people, the dunya, all these things. Like the other day, we went to like some car showroom. I said, really, this is where the nafs will manifest. The nafs manifest in these places, because who doesn't want a nice car? The nafs manifest in these places. The car, the house, as you see a nice house, your mind will start to imagine, oh, what if I had the house? What if I had that car? What if I had this whatever, this nice phone or this whatever? That's an example of an external influence entering into your mind, into your heart. And the next one is something like a bad influence. The bad influence is coming in like, sorry, I've already explained about it. Good one is like, for example, you see someone following the sunnah, and if, like, just think about it, this can be split in two ways. You might think bad of that person, or he's following the sunnah, maybe he's gonna do something. And the other one is that, look at that person, he's young, he's following the sunnah, not myself, but and maybe we should actually follow the sunnah as well. He's not living a bad life. He's got whatever he has. But because he has Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's happy, he's content. It's just that we're actually missing something, the core ingredient of our life. Someone asked, how can I attain peace? I said, well, maybe I need to do this, I need to do this. I said, that's not how you attain peace. One of the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is as-salam, the all peaceful, the one who gives peace. Now we're looking in every other direction to attain peace. Oh, maybe if we buy this phone we'll get peace, maybe we buy this car we'll get, maybe if we buy a house, you still will not get peace. I think it'll go worse rather. You will not get that peace you're looking for. The only way you can get peace is by going to the source of peace, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot get more peace except from Allah Azza wa Jal. And there are some things to consider when trying to identify whether or not something is good or bad for you. If it's beneficial to you, it will be more harmful to you. Like these thoughts and ideas are coming to fulfill a need that Allah Azza wa Jalla has created in our being. The first thing is to either satisfy a lack of something. We're missing something. So an inspiration might come to give us to fulfill a lack of something. So something is missing in our lives. We know we're missing peace. We know we're missing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We know we're missing all these things. But what do we need to do? Is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might inspire a person. And so many of us, really, reality is that we're not actually ready to even receive this ilham and inspiration, this blessing that is being bestowed upon us. Something is missing inside of us. Something is like salah. Now, how many of you, I can say myself, not all of us were not born friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, are not born fasting and praying with the zeal and want to do so. How many of you, whatever age you did it, however you did it, all of a sudden something came in your mind? I want to raise of hands. In your life, how many of you at some point in your life felt, you know what, I need to go and turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is there a show of hands? Okay, some of you partially putting it up. Okay, mashallah. All of you put your hands up, mashallah. That at some point in your life you thought, hang on a second, I need to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hence why you're here now. Hence why you're here. Not that you've done anything of your own means. All you did was you had that inspiration, I should go to the masjid. And there you go. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you. So there you go, to fill a lack of something. You had a lack of love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a lack of peace. Your family is broken, or your family is split off from you. The community doesn't like you. You've done something wrong, so wrong in your life, and you think, you know what, I need to actually change my life for the better. And inshallah, it will benefit you after this life as well. Number two is to prevent or stop us from something that is harmful. So the another type of inspiration is that shaitan might come and or any kind of inspiration or any kind of thing. Sorry, the other way is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bestow upon you, okay, don't do this, don't listen to music, I should stop doing this, as a preventative measure. As we know, prevention is better than cure. So you'd rather, if you like a cancerous disease, like the Mashaykh have given us example, like evil thoughts are like cancerous cells, like disease cells, or like cancerous cells of disease, and what are we going to do to stop it? Are we going to feed those cells, that cancerous cell? We're not going to feed those cells. We are going to actually prevent ourselves and put in whatever measures we need to do. If the doctor says go to the gym, we're going to go to the gym. If the doctor says, okay, now you need to stop eating a certain kind of food, you'll stop eating that kind of food. And those people who carry on, only they are feeding into the disease. And that's why sometimes that we all know, I can guarantee you, every single one of you know exactly what your problems are. If you don't know, then you need to really sit down with someone and actually identify it. But every single one of you will know, I have this problem, I have this disease, I have this problem, I have this sin, I can't prevent it, I can't stop it. Every single one of you will know what exactly that sin is. Everyone knows. So now it's up to you. Okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to continue? You know, for example, a person who watches like pornography and stuff like this, and they're into women, etc. What they'll do is that they know the phone is causing them to actually manifest this disease. So what they should do, and mostly the Mashaykh, is to cut the means. So one of them ways is to stop this, is to be with people. If you have this disease, is to be with people, because you will only manifest this particular thing when you're alone, when the curtains are drawn back, the doors are shut, no, you will manifest this alone, not when people are around. Hence why you keep people in your vicinity, you keep people close to you. This is one way to prevent this, the love of the shar, the evil of women, or like for women, for men, likewise, vice versa. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Ankabut, in verse 69, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِي يَنَاهُمْ سُبُولَنَا وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَمَعَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا, and those who strive hard for us. It's not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is emphasizing, those who strive hard for us, those who put in the effort. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِي يَنَّهُمْ سُبُولَنَا. We shall certainly guide them on our ways. Those of you put the effort in. Never think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forgotten you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all aware. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala al-Raqib, He's ever present. He knows exactly what's wrong in your life and what's missing. It's just that we're not ready to receive it yet. We're not ready, we're not in the right state to receive it. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِي سُبُولَنَا وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَمَعَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And Allah is surely with those who do right. Allah is surely with those who do right. And furthermore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Muhammad, وَالَّذِينَ اِهْتَدَوْا زَادَهُمْ هُدًى وَآتَهُمْ تَقْوَاهُمْ. And those who are guided, He increases them in guidance and gives them taqwa. And I just want to briefly explain, because Salatul Maghrib is at 40, isn't it? 43. Inshallah, then it gives us time to the dhikr. Allah subhanahu saying, those who are guided, I grant them taqwa. And I just want to, before next week inshallah, when we cover this, the last part of it, is that Allah, and it's further mentioned by Imam Birgavi, has mentioned that these thoughts and inspiration can come into one's mind without an intermediary. So it doesn't need no third party. It comes straight into your mind. Like even the scientists don't know where the heartbeat comes from. The heartbeat, they don't know where it comes from. The heartbeat is just there. It's just there. Hence, you don't see thought come into someone's mind, do you? You don't see a thought come in. People like awliya Allah, they'll see the thought and how it comes in, etc. But you yourself, you cannot see the thought coming in. nor can you see it settling. But one thing you can do is acknowledge that the thought is there and stop the thought, diverting your attention, diverting your mind to anything else other than the sin, other than that evil, that shar, that evil that shaitan has put into your mind. There are some cases where Allah Azza wa Jal will directly send inspiration to the person through an angel, and the angel will interject. He will like inject you with the inspiration from Allah Azza wa Jal. He will put in the inspiration. We shouldn't really rely upon this, because it's up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when He does it, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is waiting for that moment that when you are ready, then you will receive that ilham, that inspiration, and your life will start to change. But really, one should actually put an effort in beforehand. And this is put into the upper right chamber of the heart. To the heart of the faithful, this angel is known as Muh. The angel that is particularly used is called Muh. The inspirer and that invitation of goodness is called the angelic inspiration, Alham al-Malaiki. And they can be identifiable through their receptive nature and your desire to reach the close proximity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this, you'll know that it's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you are receptive to it, that there's no doubt in it. You think, oh, mashallah, that this is the right, this is the haqq, this is the truth, this is the right way. And they can identify through that, and they help to reach their hands. And that's sometimes why we give a moment in the zikr to do the muraqabah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that you may receive this light. So you're in a receptive mode and in a receptive mindset. I think Brother Majid mentioned that during the etiquettes is that when you come into the zikr of ilm, into the majalis of ilm and zikr, you shouldn't come in like a full cup. You should be like an empty cup, ready to be filled, ready to learn. Otherwise, if you're coming in with a full cup, it's just going to pour over. And this is one of the main etiquettes, to actually empty yourself, clear yourself. You come in here with a receptive mindset and a receptive frame of mind, and inshallah you will benefit. So jazakallah khair, inshallah. Allah brother Majid continue. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa atubu ilayk.